Imagine your phone disappears for one full day. Not just the apps. The whole idea of the internet. No messages, no search, no videos, no maps, no music app, no endless feed waiting in your pocket. At first, it sounds peaceful. Then it starts to feel strange. You wake up and there is nothing to check. You eat breakfast, and there is nothing playing beside your plate. You wait for a bus, and there's no small screen to look at. You sit in your room, and the room is just a room. So what did people actually do all day before the internet? The simple answer is that they did normal things. They worked, they cooked, they cleaned, they studied, they went to school, they listened to music, they watched TV, they read, they went outside, they talked to people, they got bored. But that answer misses the interesting part. The biggest difference was not the activities. The biggest difference was the empty space around the activities. Today, almost every empty space can be filled. Standing in line becomes phone time. Eating becomes video time. Walking becomes podcast time. Waiting for someone becomes scrolling time. Even going to sleep can become one more hour of looking at a screen. Before the internet, waiting was just waiting. If a friend was late, you waited. If a movie ended, it ended. If the store was closed, you came back later. If you did not know the answer to something, you either asked someone, looked in a book, or just did not know. That sounds annoying because it was annoying. But it also made life feel very different. When people were bored, they could not remove boredom in 2 seconds. They had to sit with it. They looked around, they noticed the room, they listened to the street, they started thinking about random things. Sometimes those thoughts were useless. Sometimes they turned into plans, ideas, or conversations. Today, boredom almost never gets that far. The moment life becomes quiet, the screen offers a way out, and the screen is very good at this. It always has something ready: a video, a message, a song, a comment, a map, a joke, a stranger's opinion, someone else's vacation, someone else's dinner, someone else's perfect morning. So the old question was, what should I do now? The new question is, what should I click next? That small change matters more than it sounds. Before the internet, a day had more clear edges. Morning felt like morning. The trip somewhere felt like the trip. A conversation was just a conversation. A boring hour was a boring hour. An evening at home was an evening at home. Now everything can mix together. You can be at breakfast and also inside the news. You can be walking outside and also inside a podcast. You can be with a friend and also checking 5 other people. You can be in bed and also inside 1,000 tiny stories that have nothing to do with your own life. This is not always bad. The internet is useful. It gives us answers, directions, music, work, friends, movies, and information. It lets people learn things they could never learn before. It helps people find each other. It makes the world bigger. But when the world becomes bigger, your own day can start to feel smaller. Before the internet, most people lived inside a much smaller world. They knew their street, their family, their friends, the stores nearby, the songs on the radio, the shows on TV, the books in the house, the people they could actually reach. If you wanted to see someone, you usually had to go somewhere or call them. If you wanted to hear a song, you might have to wait for it. If you wanted to take a photo, you did not take 50. You took 1 or 2 and hoped they worked. There was more friction. Friction is the little bit of difficulty between wanting something and getting it. Today, friction is disappearing everywhere. Music is instant. Food is instant. Answers are instant. Entertainment is instant. Even other people feel instant. And that is comfortable. But sometimes comfort makes things feel lighter. When any song is 1 click away, one song feels less special. When anyone can be messaged at any time, one message feels less important. When there is always another video, the video you are watching feels easier to leave. Before the internet, small things had more weight because there were fewer options around them. A favorite TV show mattered because you had to wait for it. A phone call mattered because it was not mixed with 20 other chats. A walk mattered because you were actually on the walk. A conversation mattered because you could not half leave it without moving your body. This does not mean the past was better. People were bored, people were lonely, people wasted time, people watched bad TV, people sat around doing nothing, people missed information, People got lost. People waited for things that now take 3 seconds. The point is not that life before the internet was magical. The point is that it was harder to escape the moment you were in. If you were alone, you were alone. If you were outside, you were outside. If nothing was happening, then nothing was happening. And because of that, people had to use the world around them more. Kids went outside because the house got boring. Friends came over because talking on the phone was not enough. People read the back of cereal boxes because there was nothing else on the table. Someone stared out the window during a long car ride and made up little stories about the houses passing by. These things sound small, but they filled a life. Not in a dramatic way, not in a movie way, just in a normal human way. A person might wake up, eat, go somewhere, talk to someone, do some work, get bored, listen to the radio, make dinner, watch one show, clean something, think about a problem, and go to sleep. Nothing amazing happened, but the day had a shape. Today, a day can be full and still feel blurry. You can watch 10 videos, answer 20 messages, read 5 headlines, hear 3 songs, open 12 tabs, and still end the night thinking, what did I actually do today? Because a lot happened on the screen, but not much happened in the room. That might be why people are so curious about life before the internet. We are not really asking what people did all day. We know what they did. They did life. We are asking what it felt like to live without a second world always open. Maybe it felt slower. Maybe it felt more boring. Maybe it felt more frustrating. But maybe it also felt more solid because when there is no endless feed, the small things have nowhere to hide. The light on the wall, the sound outside, the person sitting across from you, the long, quiet minute before you decide what to do next. People before the internet did not have better lives just because they had fewer screens, but they did have fewer exits. And maybe that is the strange part. They were not always entertained, they were not always connected, they were not always informed, but more often they were simply where they were,